All right, Lucky Duck here. And I've been getting a lot of questions about how we're able to chase these schools around at Odell this year. It's been really tough fishing at Odell. Even for us, it's been tough. But the trick is finding the schools that are not right under your boat, not the ones that you can see with your standard sonar. So you have to have stuff that sees out to the side. Years ago, I used side imaging. Now with the Garmin and the Humminbird, they've got a little better products. So I know a lot of you guys have bought live scope and you're like, why can't I catch them? Well, there's more to it than just having the unit on your boat. So let me try my best in just a few minutes here to help understand what has to happen and how hard it is to stay on these fish at times. So when we first start looking, I'll use my Panoptic PS31, which is a unit that lets me see out in front of the boat about this angle, and it shows depth and whatnot. And it lets me see up to 300 feet. And that's what I'm seeing. Okay, that's a giant school. I died and gone to heaven when I saw that school. You know, they're shallow and they're huge. But generally, they've been Volkswagen-sized schools this year. But what I'm looking for is the schools that are up high, the 20, 30 footers. They're moving fast, they're hard to stay with, but at least they'll bite. And it doesn't take that long to get your jig into them. And I'll go over that here in a minute about how long it takes your jig to fall. That's a big factor. So after we find the school I want with the Panoptic, then I head for them. When I get close, I can kind of use my Humminbird 360, there's a school of fish, to kind of dial them in. But ultimately, I want them right here. Okay, this is, you guys have seen this before. This is the boat, this is the front of the boat, this is the back of the boat. I actually want them in the back of the boat. That school right there is about typical. It's about the size of a Volkswagen. You can see it's about 10, 15 foot and about that tall. Not very big. And they move, so it's not all that easy. So this is the cone as it pertains to front and back of the boat. This is the cone as it pertains to side to side. So if I got a school of fish right here in this cone, and they swim that way or that way, I see them and I can tell how far away they are and it's all good. But as soon as they go 5 feet that way, I can't see them anymore. So what do I got to do? I got to pivot my boat, because this thing is fixed on my boat. I got to pivot my boat so I can see them again. Then I can, as long as I can see them, then I can track them. So these kokanee, I've been chasing them backwards because I can control the boat better. They're moving roughly 1 mile an hour. That is about 18 inches per second. So if it takes your jig, let's say 5, 6, or 10 seconds to get to the fish, you can see how far they could move before you get there. So here's the boat. This is pretty much to scale. Here's the boat. Here's what I'm looking at. Here's what I can see with my live scope. Front and back of the boat. Nothing out here, nothing out here. There's my fish back there. Okay, 10 foot by 10 foot. So if those fish move this far this way, I can't see them. So that's when I use my front trolling motor. I pivot and I give it a hard turn and I bring them back. If they move this way, that's fine. I just gas the boat. Or if they start to slow down on me, then I just slow down with them. Okay, the whole time, and notice how this is off-centered. It's off-centered because here's my transducer mount on this side of my boat. That's the center line of the live scope. So when I'm yelling at my guys, they're standing here, and I'll say 6 o'clock, 25 feet. That means that's where I've got the fish. Right there, 6 o'clock, 25 feet. I got them. I know they're right there. And sometimes, like in this case, I'd say a little right. My right, their left. Another little ticklish thing. So now they're standing there. They know right where the center of the school is. So let's say they make a perfect cast right there, but by the time that jig gets to 30 feet, how fast did I say it goes? If it takes 6 seconds, they've gone 18, so they've gone 9 feet. Those fish are there, you just missed them, and you missed them by a lot, okay? So my guys know that when I'm tracking them backwards like that, if I say they're back 30 feet, then they better cast about 70. Okay, and guess what? So they make a perfect cast at 70, and those fish take just a slight variation. Guess what? They missed again. What if I tell them those fish are a little right, and they cast just a hair left? Well, guess what? They missed them again. So it's kind of like threading a needle out there. Really tough. I'm communicating constantly by my screen, and I'm looking at my screen numbers and tell them how far back they are. I'm pivoting my boat right and left, trying to keep them dead center so I know they're right in my 6 so that I can really be accurate on what I'm calling. So, knowing all that, now there's the boat. And this is also pretty much to scale. This is where I like to keep those fish, about 30 feet back. They're generally running 20 to 30 feet down. So, here's my guy. And I've got metered line. So these guys know if I say drop down 25 feet, they drop straight down. They know. They put 25-foot mark right at the top of the water, and they know they're right in the middle of that school. Well, it doesn't work quite the same when we're doing it this way, because I never really get them straight down. Because if I try to get them straight down, those fish will flare. They'll go right or left, or they'll make a quick move and juke me, because they don't like me getting right on top of them when they're that shallow. So I have my guys cast back. Let's say he cast to 70 out here, right here. And as I'm backing up and these fish are moving, see, all this is live, then this jig's falling, 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 falling. Well, by the time it gets in the zone, he's got to have his line mended to about 45 or 50. See how I had that at 50, that little white mark? Okay, now he's fishing. Now, if he's done everything right, then that jig starts right there and it starts bouncing through. Okay? And I can actually watch those fish on the screen come through that school. That's a perfect cast. That means he's in them. He did it right, I did it right. Hopefully we catch fish. But there's a lot of factors there. You know, you cast 80 and the fish slow down and now you trip underneath them. So then he has to know, just by the angle of his line, well, I'm probably too deep, and he has to mend up. So my guys could probably give a whole new class on this about how they sort out what I say and what's actually going on. Or when they cast out here and then I pivot the boat. So a lot of stuff to take in here. Not easy at all, especially when you got 3 or 4 guys back there and everybody's casting over each other and they're doing the dance. But one takeaway that this may help you guys. This is, I've noticed this a lot this year. If you stay at the top of the school or at the edges of the school, you're going to have a better bite rate. When they come through the middle, they don't bite. When that jig comes through here, nothing. It comes out the side, now a couple follow it out. Then they bite. If you come across the top, they may bite any place across here. Here's a big takeaway. I saw fish come out of the school as much as 50 feet. So I'm chasing a school like this, and they're jigging. And they usually know once they're straight down, get out. Because they're out of fish, and they're going to get caught in the prop, and they might as well cast again. Okay, but that's not always the case. I saw a school of fish come out, not a school, but 3 or 4 fish come out 60 feet. So they were here. I watched them come out. They were clear up in front of the boat, and he finally hooked up. So as long as you have a jig working, and that's the key, it's got to be working. As soon as you stop it, they'll just swim right back to the school. But if you think you hit the school, stay with it. And that's what I'll yell at them. I'll say, stay with it, stay with it, stay with it, because I can see those fish still on it. And when I see that last one give up and swim back, then I'll say you're out. But if you think you get in them, just stay with it. Keep working it, because he may hit you yet. I hope this helps. And if you had any questions, you can ask it on the YouTube page or on my Facebook page.